everyone, welcome back to the channel. My name is Moi, and in today's video we'll be talking about front-end, back-end and full stack, because I find that it's one of the most confusing things for beginners. So when people say developer, they usually mean one of three things. It's either front-end, back-end or full stack, and I will explain what each of them means. So front-end is essentially what users see. So when we talk about the design, the buttons, the colors, the layouts, any animations on a screen, that is what we call the front-end. So anything you can click, anything you can touch, or anything you can look at on a website or on an app is front-end. So when you open Instagram or YouTube or a website, the whole screen in front of you is referred to as the front-end. So front-end developers use tools like HTML, CSS, JavaScript, and frameworks like React, Flutter, or Vue. Pretty much their job is to make sure that things look good and feel very smooth to the user. Now moving on to the backend. What is the backend? The backend is what the users do not see. It is the brain of the app, and it handles things like saving data, logging users in, sending messages, processing payments, or talking to the database. So when you log into a system, the backend checks your password. So for instance, you have a mobile device and you put in your email and your password. What you don't see is that the backend actually checks this password against your user. So when you post something, the backend saves it, and when you refresh the app, the backend also sends new data back to the front end, which is the app or the website. Backend developers use things like C#, Java, Node.js, Python, and databases like SQL or MongoDB. Now moving on to full stack. What is full stack? So full stack means that you can do both. We've explained what the front end is and what the back end is, and full stack means that you can build both the screen that the people see or the users see and the logic that powers it, that is the logic behind it. So you understand how the front end talks to the back end, and a full stack developer understands how the system connects from the front end to the back end, and essentially they can build a full product alone. We're talking the UI, the API, the database, and everything in between. So now that we've explained what front end, back end, and full stack means, which should you choose? So if you like design, visuals, and anything that has to do with user experience, then you definitely need to start with the front end. But if you like logic, data, and problem solving, then you definitely need to start with the back end. So if you like understanding everything and building complete systems, then you need to go full stack, because that's pretty much where you understand how the front end works and how the back end works, so you're able to build your products. There is no one better than the other. These are just different rules, and you can select whichever you want. So many beginners feel pressure to be a full stack developer immediately, and you really do not have to. It's okay to start with one side. You can decide to be a front-end developer or a back-end developer and learn either one first, and then you can decide to add the other one later. And that's how most full stack developers actually grow. Most of them start with one, and then as time goes on, they decided to add the other one. So think of it like this: the front end is the body and the back end is the brain, and the full stack developer pretty much knows how the whole person works. So you really don't need to stress about picking the perfect part, because there isn't one. You just pick the one that feels interesting to you, and then you can always switch later, or you can always build on that later. So thank you very much for watching this video. If this sounds interesting to you, and in the coming series we have more videos coming, you can always hit like and hit subscribe to stay notified. Thank you, and see you in my next video.